Hi, everyone. I hope you're having a great weekend. I hope the Olympics are coming soon. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm sure everyone else is. I haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to go about watching the Olympics. As always, as a foreign language nerd, I'm thinking, hey, maybe I can kill two birds with one stone and watch the Olympics in a foreign language, but maybe not. I just do want to make sure that I do watch the Olympics. We've been holed up in our apartments or homes for like a year and a half now, and finally getting a great big event, the Olympics, to be available is just amazing. It's great. I know Japan's a little worried about it, but hopefully things work out okay, and it's a great thing, right? Um, so you probably saw that I uploaded a um, a Japanese iTalki lesson to my YouTube channel. I know I didn't put any subtitles. I did put some information in the description, but yeah, if you don't study Japanese, then that video is not for you, probably. So maybe you're thinking about studying Japanese. There's nearly no way, unless there's some kind of Google Translate for subtitles. Probably not worth it. Um, Basically, I saw a different channel. YouTube somehow recognized that the YouTube algorithm is not the best, but it does recommend channels to me or videos to me sometimes that I'm interested in and really will enjoy. And one of those was Germaine's YouTube channel. Her hobby, is, of course, is studying Japanese too, and I think she's from Taiwan, and she is much better at video editing than I am. She actually knows how to video edit, whereas I really do not. In the past, I have done a little bit of video editing, but it's over the years, just a little bit at a time, so I really don't progress. And I know that if I'm going to make a really good YouTube channel, the video editing would be key. But at the same time, it's a small hobby. My bigger hobby is foreign languages, not video editing and YouTube. So we'll see. Probably not going to happen too soon. But her channel, she uploads iTalki lessons, and she was someone else. She saw a different YouTube channel, Benjiro, I think, who also uploaded his iTalki lessons to YouTube, and she found that extremely helpful because as a high beginner, low intermediate, or basically someone who is not quite ready for native content, although we all watch native content anyway. But getting a comprehensible content that's also interesting is really hard to do, challenging as an adult. If you're a small child, it's easy. Any child cartoon, anything designed for 5 to 8 year olds or 6 year olds, is going to be entertaining. Not as an adult, not so entertaining. You can sit down and kind of force yourself to watch it, but not the greatest. So she found his videos very helpful, but he did stop making videos, and I guess she felt like stepping up and she clearly has good editing skills. So anyway, she's making these videos. She does more work in addition to the video editing. She's actually adding, I noticed in one video for sure, she added Japanese subtitles. Sometimes I think she puts vocabulary in the description, which is something I could do. I should go back and I need to do that for my video, add some more vocabulary. I just remember akogareru, which to me actually is not that, although when the teacher said it, it didn't click right away. This is the thing I always say to my teachers. I'm actually relearning vocabulary that I forgot, that I studied and forgot. I've been doing this language for 10 years, right? So, it's crazy how much vocabulary you study and forget. And I didn't really forget it. It just didn't click. But there's other vocabulary I have definitely forgot and am relearning. So she does that. I saw her channel, very motivated, and it seemed easy to do. Just record your iTalki lesson, right, and upload it to YouTube. I've been recording a lot of my lessons just to kind of help myself with my pronunciation and maybe pick up a few words that the teacher maybe said offhand without realizing it. And when I asked them, what they said, they actually forgot. It happens actually quite a bit. As opposed to if they deliberately say something or use a word that they want to teach me. I did it for that purposes, and I never seemed to have any problems recording those lessons, but as soon as I got permission to upload it to YouTube, somehow it got a lot more difficult. The one I did upload obviously worked, so that was good. But then I've had other situations where YouTube stuttered partway through and then fixed itself, but somehow in the feed that it was sending to my recording program, OBS, it didn't fix itself very well. And there was a big echo for the on the audio, so that kind of ruined that conversation, which is very sad. It was a very good lesson. And then I had another situation where I thought I fixed this, and I by recording my screen instead, and then somehow OBS didn't just record the Windows desktop. It just the Skype window video just didn't get. I don't know why. When as soon as I tried to test it again, just Skyping myself and recording it, it worked perfectly. I don't know. It's like I'm jinxing myself by saying, "Oh, hey, can I get permission to upload this to YouTube?" We'll see. So anyway, I've taken 2 or 3 weeks, I'm not sure exactly, of a lot of Skype lessons in Japanese. The idea, was that in part I wanted to see how that would improve my Japanese. I guess I need to sit down and watch the videos to really know, but it does feel like it's getting better, and I really enjoy the conversations. I've kind of gone through like 3 to 5 tutors, and most of them were new teachers to iTalki. So of course I don't know how long they'll continue doing it, or if they'll raise their prices, or what's going to happen with that. But the initial lesson, of course, to me, I'm doing free talk. I think whenever you meet someone that you don't know, maybe your first time meeting with them is probably the most interesting, because you're getting to know them, and there's a lot of things you can ask them. And then as time goes on, there's still lots of things you can ask them, but it doesn't necessarily seem, they're not obvious questions per se. You kind of have to try a little harder, so it gets a little more difficult. And I'm trying to think, what can I do to make the lessons more interesting? A lot of people, I think, rely on the teacher to kind of keep things going. I think that's a big mistake. Depending on the teacher, that will, I think, fail miserably or fail just a little bit. It's very rarely will that really succeed. And I think I guess with professional, with the professional type, quote unquote professional, with some teachers, what they'll do is they'll actually prepare a lesson. They'll call it free talk, but they really have a lesson set up. And it's kind of, to me, that's a lot like studying out of a textbook. It's maybe material that the teacher used from their own life, making it a little more personal, a little more interesting, their own hobbies or whatever. But it's not free talk and per se. And I think free talk is at least for me, that's where I'm going with these lessons. When I sign up for free talk, it's because I don't want to do like a textbook type of lesson. I don't want to study grammar. I don't mind practicing grammar. I don't mind having them correct me a little bit. That's okay. But I don't want them to actually have something set up where they're teaching me and the grammar per se. That's not very enjoyable for my Japanese at this time. And I think as the student, if you can guide the conversation as much as possible, I'm doing that, it makes it better for sure. But at the same time, and I want to prepare topics and questions, right? It seems like that's going to be helpful, but so far, I've kind of tried to prepare just a little bit. Usually my questions do revolve around cultural differences or language learning. That is my hobby, language learning. It makes sense, right? And my experience in Japan. However, I never even used any of these topics. I guess I'd have to like tape them to my monitor maybe. I don't know. Or I was thinking I possibly might send them to the teacher in advance saying, look, here's some suggestions so that we could talk about so they can actually have it. And anyway, so I think that if you can guide the free talk as much as possible, then that's probably going to be a more enjoyable experience for you. And I think the same is true in real life. When you go to, when I go to Japan, when I go wherever you go, if you can keep the conversation going, if you can kind of take charge, then in general you're going to have a better experience or a more consistent experience for sure, right? Obviously. You will meet some people who will be very interested in talking to you, and will you'll have a good conversation with them doing most of the talking. But I think as a speaker, you probably want to have the ability to, at least to take charge. A lot of people talk about, well, I don't know about a lot of people, but I know that when I was an English tutor in Japan and at a eikaiwa, or like an English language school, they wanted us to have a ratio of basically, I did say maybe 30% of the talking and the student did 70%. And I've noticed some other comments in some of these iTalki lessons, people saying something similar. And to me, it really depends on, as a student, how much, what do you want to practice? A lot of times, especially as an intermediate learner or low intermediate, you really want that output practice. So that makes a lot of sense. So that's 30-70, or in my case, I've had lessons where I kind of sometimes want to just talk, and I've gone in and done like 99% of the talking. I remember the teacher, this really young girl, new teacher, was just kind of like staring like in shock, like what just happened. After an hour just went by, and I'm the teacher, and he just talked. Whenever she started to say something, I just kept on talking. I don't know. Yeah, I think as a teacher, I've had some students that are similar to that. From a teacher's point of view, I thought that was great. I thought they got all the speaking practice, and really I didn't have to do any work per se. It just maybe just pay attention. That's it. Not bad, right? But I'm trying now to actually in my lessons to make it, well, just to simulate like a real conversation. So sometimes I may want to do a lot of listening. I may be very interested, and I am interested in Japan and the the lives, the culture, what's going on in Japan, just asking them questions about stuff that's going on. And although I may need some practice outputting, I'm interested. And so that's what I want to do with the lesson, right? So I'll do it that way sometimes, but if I want to get better at outputting, I suppose I'll have to make some time to make a point of also doing outputting. So to me, 50-50 is probably the better split, just because it's most natural, and you do get some good outputting practice and you get to learn more. But maybe if I was a lower intermediate, the 30-70 rule might be better, or in my case, I had the 99-1 example. Anyway, yeah, so of course I would like to upload. I enjoy recording the lessons, and it's a good reference for me. I may upload some more iTalki lessons to the channel, probably in Japanese right now, until I get the courage to do it in a different language. I don't know if I will add subtitles. I suppose if I do a shorter lesson, 30 minutes, actually for free talk, 30 minutes, depending on the person and your mood, might be a much safer time frame to sign up for and to attempt. Keeping a conversation going for 30 minutes is definitely easier. I don't know if I'll add subtitles. I don't know if I'll add vocabulary. We'll have to see. It depends how much time I have and how interested I am in it. So yeah, but I really like doing the iTalki lessons. I'm going to continue taking iTalki lessons, and so I probably will be uploading some more of that. Yeah, that's everything I have to talk about. This was barely shorter than my other updates, but thank you so much for watching, and have a great weekend.